Welcome to episode 3 of the Fenway finale. Tonight, we are live on YouTube and Twitter, breaking down everything from the Red Sox' first loss of the season, where unfortunately they got walked off in 11 innings. My name is Nick Diamond, and tonight I'm joined by Will. Will, what are your immediate thoughts from today's game?
Overall, first loss of the season, not what we were hoping for, especially extra innings. I'm always a fan of extra baseball. A lot to talk about today. It was not just a simple loss. I do want to make sure that we break down. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is the ABS and the umpiring between CB Buckner. I feel like Buckner is just a cursed name within the Red Sox. Anytime we face a Buckner or Buckner's involved, it's just bad news bears. Other than that, I do want to mention defense, a lot to talk about with hitting and some substitutions from Cora as well. But overall, a lot to learn. Hopefully things improve going forward. But a Williard blast will always have me with a smile.
Yeah, I totally agree. The Williard home run of the ninth was huge. Got me excited. I got out of my seat, ran around the room for a few seconds. I thought we had a 2-0 start to the season. Obviously, it didn't work out, but it was a cool moment early. If you want to start with Sonny Gray, I think that would be pretty good. I'll pull up this graphic here we have of him in his Red Sox debut. He only lasted 4 innings, 6 hits. It wasn't an error, but it was an error. He kind of tried to basically play dodgeball with the runner going home running from third to home. He dropped the ball when he went to tag him, and instead of just flipping it to Narvaez, he had an easy out, and he only would have given up 1 run that inning. His outing would have looked way different. If you want, 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks. He wasn't awful, just wasn't good enough tonight. 5 hits. The Reds didn't really expand the zone, so that's one thing you want to talk about. They had good at-bats against Sonny Gray. He wasn't awful. He wasn't great.
Yeah, I think Sonny Gray, too, a big piece of it was looking at the factors outside of just the pitching. You had the Trevor Story error in the second that expanded that inning a little bit. It was only 1 out, but still, Trevor Story should make that as a better shortstop in the league. That obviously added to that. He gave the unicorn homer, too, only at the Reds Stadium will they actually give up that 1 home run. A couple things I factored in there. Overall, again, not what we wanted to see from Sonny Gray, but I'm not looking at this and going, oh man, like what are we in for? It's way too early to hit the panic button. He had an iffy spring training, to say the least. 4 innings, again, that pitch count was kind of high after that first inning. I think it was 35 pitches in the first inning. It's just not what we wanted to see from a starter. But again, nowhere close, at least for me, nowhere close to panic button. What do we do for a number 2 right now?
I actually think it was 38 pitches. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think it was 38. And then I don't think he had over 20 in any other inning. I could do the math, but I think it was like 19 was the next most in any inning. So he did settle down. It was his own doing in the first inning, so I'm not going to sit here and say he got completely unlucky. He could have just thrown the ball to Narvaez. It was the easiest little flip to him and step on home, and it would have been a 1. We probably would have won this game if he just did that. If you really want to pin it on that, you could.
How long do they practice in spring training PFPs, right? It's like that looks like such a routine, all right, grab the ball, underhand to home, get the runner coming home. The runner too, he was well on his way to home. That would not have been a crazy rundown pickle kind of situation. I don't know what he was doing. Why, if you are going to tag the runner, why do it with your bare hand? Put the ball in the glove, Put the glove out there, protect the ball. Overall, not the best. But again, that I will almost chalk up to, second game of the season, still kind of, getting the routine going. Hopefully we don't see that again. But man, that was embarrassing.
No, it was. That last inning was really good. He got 2 first outs, and then he gave up a single in the 4th. And then Narvaez threw out the stealing runner. I thought there was a chance he was going to come out for the 5th just to kind of save his bullpen. You don't love to see your starter go 4 innings, especially in a game that you could still win. I thought Cora was still going to try to win this game. So you didn't want to go blow your bullpen up, but I was okay with him being pulled there. It obviously didn't work out with Weiser coming in next and giving up a home run on his first pitch of the season, but it's whatever.
Again, it kind of goes back to what we were saying on Thursday from the Crochet start. 80 pitches, kind of right where you want to be, regardless of innings pitched. You would have liked to see him go longer, but with 80 pitches, I don't want to push him too far there. The big thing for me, too, is that his velocity was right on point with his average, too. We're not seeing a huge dip. It's not like he's giving up crazy contact because he can't find the zone or anything like that. It's just, it wasn't the best outing, but again, nothing to be panicked about. Again, early season outing. That's what this was.
Yeah, he didn't really give up too many hard hit balls. I mean, like you brought up the unicorn home run. He was okay. He was okay. He wasn't great. It was a little bit of an unlucky outing. If we don't have anything else about Sonny Gray, I'd like to go into the offense, to be honest. One of the guys that kind of screwed over Sonny Gray was Trevor Story. He immediately brought up for it with a home run, the first home run of the Red Sox season. Anything from that?
It's great to see him with that power back. I mean, that's what we expected. I believe I predicted almost 25 bombs for him this year, so 24 left from Story for that prediction. But always good to see him. I mean, again, that pitch was a meatball. I think it was middle. I mean, it looked like it was served up on a platter. But also, exit velo was up there from him too. Nothing that it's too shocking about that homer, but it was great to see the bat flip too. The bat flip was awesome. I loved it. He knew it right when he hit it. Barreled it up, got it out there, done deal. I was kind of bummed. I do want to mention it too, the lack of home run celebration. We didn't see the Wally head. I want to see what they end up doing, but I'll give it a few days before I expect something celebration.
Yeah, my theory on the celebration is they'll debut it at home, probably. I'm assuming they're going to do something. There's no way the Red Sox are not going to have something, but we'll see. It was, so like you said about the Trevor Story home run, he knew about it right away. The bat flip was cool. It was 109 off the bat. It was gone at 30 at 30 Park, so he can flip that bat all he wants. I don't really care. It was a bomb. It was nice to see him make up for that error, come back with confidence at the plate and hit the ball out. So I was happy with that. Besides that, though, he went 1 for 6, and he struck out 4 times. So that is a big thing to think about. You can't strike out 4 times. I mean, we'll take home runs, but that's the thing we talked about this Red Sox team last year. They had a lot of strikeouts, and today they still did.
Yeah, and we still have, I think, left on 11 guys on base. One of those strikeouts, too, was that really weird check swing. Shouldn't have been, a strike 3 call from CB and Buckner. We'll obviously dive a little bit more into that, too.
I mean, there's multiple strikeouts we could take away. I mean, Marcelo Meyer got punched out on one. Like, that was a little bit of not as bad as a call as the check swing, I think, but it was not a strike. If we had the challenge still, we would have topped it. So, yeah.
Going back to Story, though, to see him that alive and that angry over a call, he's one of the more mellow heads in the clubhouse. Actually, in baseball overall, we never see him getting angry. We never see him challenging calls, but to see him get that mad, again, I would like to believe that fired everyone up. If I'm Mayor, if I'm a new guy in the clubhouse, I'm watching Story, a leader, just getting that fired up. I'm like, all right, like it's not just me, right? Like it might be game 2. We're facing our first loss of the season, but this guy's out there fighting and getting emotional as he should be. And then Cora's backing him up. I love that. Yeah, I mean,
I'm actually surprised Story didn't get tossed. He jumped on him like that. And Cora actually, he probably said something that he shouldn't have said, but it looked like Cora was a lot more level-headed at the time, and he was the one who got wrong. So, like you said, I'm surprised to see Trevor Story get that angry. He even brought it up to the field the next inning. You could see him, Nesson zoomed in on him, and he was huffing and puffing. So he was still visibly upset bringing it out to the field. Maybe that's not something I would love to see. He can flush it as soon as he gets back to the dugout because there's nothing he could do about it. But it's awesome to see there's passion there in game 2 of the season, and they want that win badly. So I could take it both ways. I'd like him not to take it out to the field, but it's Trevor Story.
That's a good call.
And it's fine with me. I think Trevor Story can control his emotions, unlike maybe a younger player could. Trevor Story's been around the game for a long time. He's played in big games. I'm okay with him taking his emotions on the field, but it is something we could point out.
Absolutely. And again, now that the more that we think about it, the more that this game has digested, with me at least, Homer was great and everything. But aside from that, again, the punch outs and then, the error too, a lot of things. The error too, I do want to spend some time talking about this too. The error is not just an error. Again, he had 6 errors in the last 9 games of last season. He was playing borderline Gold Glove defense throughout the summer of last year, and then his shoulders seemed to kind of just fall off out of nowhere on those throws to first. That ball in today's game, that error was not some crazy, ranging to his left and Derek Jeter-esque hop. That was a somewhat routine ground ball that you throw to first base. I believe it was Lou on the broadcast. He mentioned he didn't set his feet and didn't really get his hops behind him. There's just no excuse for that. This guy's been in the league for 10 plus years. This is a worrisome moment for me. If his arm is going to be like this, if his shoulder is going to be like this, and he's making an error every few days, and that was one thing going into the offseason, was our overall defense and our overall infield defense specifically too. Since 2023, we lead the Major League Baseball in errors, and by a large sum. But I think it was over 30 plus errors more than number two. You know, we grabbed Caleb Durbin to help with that third base defense, hopefully. Story is supposed to be that constant. Story is supposed to be that guy you throw out there, set and forget. And if his shoulder is bum, it's like it's scary. It's game two. It's scary.
Yeah, and if you want to bring up Trevor Story making that error, if you look at the guy playing right next to him, Marcelo Meyer made a heck of a play in the eighth inning to save a run. Marcelo Meyer could be the shortstop by May, June. Who knows? If Trevor Story can't make those throws across the diamond, you have to flip-flop him. Make him have the easier throw. And the arm has always been an issue for Trevor Story the last few years. So if Marcelo Meyer's playing the way he's playing right now defensively and he goes out there and puts up great at-bats like he has shown in the first two games, why not give him the shortstop job? That's what we drafted him in 2021. That's why we kind of marked him the savior of this team a couple years ago. He didn't really become the guy that we thought he was maybe, but he's not Roman Anthony basically. But he's still a great prospect. He's going out there, and he makes the team better if he plays shortstop, not second base, in my opinion.
And harping on Mayer for a second too, his emotion after that strike three call on his strikeout too. Once again, I'm not going to dive too much into it, but I love that too. That confidence of just being, I know that that's a ball. This might be my second game of the season. I'm fighting for a spot, trying to fight for actual playing time. And I'm fighting the umpire on that. I love that. That's the kind of fire I want to see from a second baseman or just an infielder in general. So maybe April, Mayish might be a little too soon for me to see Mayer at shortstop, but I think it's not out of the realm of possibility to see that switch being made at some point in the season.
I mean, if it's a throwing issue, then I think you have to. But yeah, do you want to get into the bullpen usage now? Kind of how after Sonny Gray went to 4, when Greg Weisser, we brought that up already, 1 inning, gave up a home run. He didn't look great, but he got out of it. And then we went into Ryan Watson, which made his MLB debut today. In my opinion, he looked awesome, but we went out there for 2 2/3, 51 pitches. He's not going to be available for a few days. He had kind of a memorable MLB debut where he had 2 strikeouts overturned by the ABS, and it would have been his first major league strikeout. So that's kind of crazy for a guy making his major league debut. You just struck out Eugenio Suarez. He taps his helmet, and then it gets overturned. Then he taps his helmet again because you just struck him out twice. That's just crazy to think about in your major league debut. We can get into the rest of the bullpen later, but your thoughts on Ryan Watson first.
Yeah, he had 7 whiffs, 7 outs. You really can't ask for much more, especially from an MLB debut. You mentioned the Suarez 2 should have been strikeouts, ABS calls, brutal. Bases loaded too with 2 outs. I mean, that's a clutch situation, and you lose. Thankfully, it didn't come back to bite us with the ground out to end the ending there. But overall, really impressed from him. He did exactly what Cora likes to do, get these relievers in there, eat up innings. And for a major league debut, you really couldn't have asked for more.
No, you couldn't. We also saw Danny we're going to get his name wrong all 162 games this year. Danny, it's Colombe. It's Colombe.
Sure.
Colombe. I think it's Colombe. Danny Colombe. He threw 14 pitches today. Wasn't amazing. Didn't get it. We saw his debut today. Any thoughts on him?
He was solid too. Nothing too crazy that jumps off the. It's hard to really harp on any relievers. I do have a few notes about Chapman and whatnot, but that's not Watson with his debut. He was the star of the show, even with Sonny Gray's debut, or sorry, not debut, but season debut as a Red Sox. Watson was the star of the show on the mounds. Really, really great job from him. And again, even with Colombe or Colombe, he was great. I'm happy to see him out there and getting innings too.
Yeah, of course. If you want to bring up your Chapman thoughts, we could do that now.
Absolutely.
Garrett Whitlock got an inning today. Slayton was the guy who got walked off, but you have some Chapman thoughts. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah. So Whitlock looked great again. Yeah. Or watching the show, he is my Cy Young vote getter, at least one this year. So today definitely helped with that. But my big notes about Chapman. So Chapman, both opening day and today, he has given up loud outs. Exit velos consist of, on Thursday for opening day, 102, 90, and 93 off the bat. I think all 3 of them, actually I do know all 3 of them did result in outs, and it was a clean ninth inning for the win on opening day. Today, he had exit velos of 82 and 101. So loud outs, obviously throws hard. You put bat to ball. That is an equation for, loud exit velo. I do want to see him mix a little bit more with his pitches, especially his slider and whatnot. It is worrisome. Even today too, in the ninth inning, he had that one loud out into the warning track. Was that? I'm totally blanking on the hitter. I apologize, but that was scary for a moment. That was very scary.
Yeah, and the camera work didn't help either. There was a few late innings that I thought were gone off the bat to left field, and Roman was camped under him. So the camera work kind of scared me. My thoughts on Chapman, I'm not going to get worried about him until he completely implodes. This is probably a Hall of Famer, Aroldis Chapman, to be honest. I know he has his off-field issues that might hurt him, but I think when it's all said and done, if you give his numbers, you look at the teams he's been on, he was on that 2016 Cubs team, he's going to go into the Hall of Fame. This is a guy I'm not worried about until it completely falls off. He's been as durable as it comes in his career, which is wild for a guy who throws over 100 miles per hour and he's in his late 30s. It's completely wild that his arm is still on his body. But I am not concerned about Aroldis Chapman until it becomes an issue. And I was go ahead. I know you just talked about Chapman, but this was a question I was thinking about earlier today, even before the game. When was the last time the Red Sox had a dominant eighth inning and a ninth inning guy as good as Garrett Whitlock and Aroldis Chapman? I'm thinking back like in 13, you had Tazawa, you had Koji. I still think this is a better duo. Kimbrel really didn't have an eighth inning guy. It was kind of like Matt Barnes, Ryan Brazier. So I think this is like your best duo at the back end we've had in a long time.
I have to agree with that too. I think the reason why I'm being so harsh on Chapman, not harsh, but I'm looking at it like every tidbit with Chapman is because it would be so nice to have a solid eighth and ninth guy. We have Whitlock. He's been dominant to start this year. To see Chapman kind of give him those extra velocity has me a little bit worried. I think it's a little naive for us to come into the season expecting the same thing the numbers that he was producing last year, but even a tick off from those numbers that he produced last year, Chapman would still be dominant, right? So hopefully this is not the start of a crumbling closer, but more so just, again, he's still out there throwing high heat. He still has crazy movement on his off speed as well. So still pump for him. I like your point about the whole eighth and ninth, setup and closer roles that we have now. It's been a long time. And again, excited for Chapman. I'm not worried yet. I'll say that. I'm not worried yet.
Do you have any other thoughts about today's game? CB Buckner was awful. I mean, we could bring him up a little bit more, but I think everyone's going to be talking about him all day long. I saw a lot of big MLB accounts, like MLB wide accounts, not just Red Sox accounts, out here talking about how bad he was today. So I think it's going to be a topic of discussion all around the league, how ABS is going to change this game, because today was kind of wild. It was just crazy how many times he missed it. I think I saw an account say he had 20 missed calls, and it was like 6 in a row that were overturned by ABS for the Reds or something like that. It was crazy how bad he was today.
That tweet that you're referring to, I saw that too. And that was in the 7th inning, I believe. So that doesn't even count extras plus the 8th and 9th inning too. he was awful. He was like, had me yelling at my TV, even when the Reds were at the plate. It could be against the Sox. And I was yelling at my TV as to how bad he was. It was abysmal. I would love to find a career where I could fail as much as he did today and succeed and then have my job tomorrow. It is absolutely insane and CB Buckner has a long history of pretty awful report cards too. Yeah. Awful report cards. So tonight's report card from him is going to be really interesting to see. And again, I was saying this before, unbiasedly as a diehard Red Sox fan, he was just awful on both sides of the plate for both teams. The Reds, however, use their challenges more strategically and more spread out, and they had a little bit more plan of attack with their challenges, whereas the Red Sox didn't. We ran out of our challenges in the 3rd inning, or by the end of the 3rd inning. And so that was something that Cora mentioned after the game too, is that they're going to go back and look at their strategy, and today taught them a lot as to how they're going to use their challenges, which I found interesting.
I found it really crazy that there was multiple players today that went back-to-back pitches to the helmet. We talked about it with Eugenio Suarez. Roman Anthony did it as well. That's just how bad CB Buckner is, that he's missing like back-to-back pitches in a row that players are just like, what? You did it again? Like, what are we doing here? So I think it's nationally going to be a bigger topic. I think we can get into tomorrow's game. You know, Connolly Early is going to make his season debut. I'm really excited about that. We're also facing Wright Louder. So it's going to be two young, exciting pitchers. So I'm excited for tomorrow's rubber match. You got any early thoughts about tomorrow?
Connolly Early had an amazing spring training. I think we know exactly what we should be seeing out of him. Hopefully he can deliver. I do want to harp on the weather. I'm not a major league pitcher. I know you're probably not either a major league pitcher, but I imagine that weather change from Florida to Cincinnati being a little bit more cold too might have a difference on pitching. It's going to be interesting to see how that adjustment is made from a younger pitcher like Connolly Early. But again, dominant spring training. I hope he just goes out there and continues the same kind of pattern and the same kind of repetition from him too. I think that tomorrow too, seeing Yoshida start will be very interesting too. We saw his at bat today, 4 pitches, sprinting down the first baseline to then have Connor Wong come in defensively. I do want to touch on that too before we wrap tonight. But again, seeing Yoshida in the field tomorrow, or in the lineup card, whether he DHs or is in the outfield, is TBD. But to see him in the starting lineup is going to be interesting.
I have a comment from Ken Santos before we get into tomorrow, and then we'll talk about Connor Wong and the catching death. So from Ken Santos, about 20 seconds ago, he put up a comment that said, game was lost in the top of the 10th after Abreu bomb and Chapman quick inning offense with anemic. I kind of agree. After the Willie Abreu bomb, I expected this team to go out there and win the game. I thought it sparked the squad. Actually, I thought after the play in the 8th inning, I thought this team was going to go out there and have a spark. It did with Willier, and then they kind of just lost it after that. Any thoughts on what Ken Santos said?
Yeah, I mean, he nailed it right on the head there. It was you get these little sparks, one here, one there. Abreu's 9th inning homer with 2 outs. I was jumping through my roof, and then they go out there, and it looks like as if it was a 0-0 game, and they're like, all right, like there's like no energy, right? The energy was like lost the second the inning flipped, or the half inning flipped, and again, force the extra is fine, but we couldn't advance anyone. It was pathetic. And you hear Cora talking about you having to play for 2 runs if you're the visiting team in extra innings, and we couldn't even get one across. That embarrassing, right? The whole idea of going back, we saw small sample size, opening day today, guys left on base, guys left in scoring position, can't score. That's a big topic last year too. Hopefully that's something that we don't see a lot of, we can fix going forward for this season, but just the energy was like sucked out of the team after Willier hit that homer, which shouldn't happen.
Of course. You want to get into Connor Wong thoughts right now? I know I have a few things with Yoshida being pinch hit that early after you got to have a better option. So I let you lead if you want, because you're the one who wanted to bring up this topic. So
yeah, I don't want to use any strong words of dislike, but I don't understand how Connor Wong still has a job on a major league roster. First off, talking about today specifically, Navarez was 2 for 3 with a run. He was one of the hottest hitters on the team today, at least. Why don't you ride the hot bat, right? It was not forced. There was no situational matchup that really forced Cora's hand to get to put Yoshida in there to work the 4-pitch walk. Okay, fine. Once Yoshida comes in, 4-pitch walk, Connor Wong comes in a pinch run. There is no reason why Connor Wong should be on a major league roster. He didn't score his first RBI last year until June. It seemed like ever since Connor Wong broke, I believe it was a bone in his hand on that backswing against the Blue Jays early last season. Since then, he has been lost at the plate. He had an at bat there in extra innings. He was swinging. I don't even know what he was looking at. I'm an awful MLB The Show player, and I don't even swing at garbage like that. That was awful. I mean, it's an automatic out. The second you take Navarez out of there, the lack of catching depth on this team turns him into an automatic out when you need at least to put the ball in play, whether it's an out or sac fly, whatever it may be. You got to put bat on ball, and Wong doesn't even look like he knows what planet he's playing on. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I kind of agree. My take earlier was, if you're going to be as aggressive as you are, as Cora was today, with pinch hitting with Masataka Yoshida that early, then you have to have a better backup option. And I'm not saying that pinch hitting with Yoshida was wrong. He's an $18 million bench bat who's a pretty good pinch hitter probably. if he's going to pinch hit all season, you just brought up the Yoshida's going to start tomorrow. I have a few takes on that, but
yep.
I'm fine with him being a pinch hitter, and I'm fine with him even pinch hitting for Carlos Narvaez after having a 2-for-3 afternoon. But you have to have a better option if you're going to pinch hit that early. You have to. It's not the 9th inning where he pinched hit, where he's not going to bat again. He pinched hit. Was it the 6th or the 7th inning? And then we went into extras. Like there was no reason. I mean, there's no reason for Connor Wong to be on this roster, and you can't pinch hit for Carlos Narvaez when that's your next option. It's just, you can't. So I agree with you. There's no way. I'm not going to say Matt Thaiss is going to be a way better option, but like you said, the quality of the bats were so bad from Connor Wong. You have to have a different option. You have to.
That strike 3 pitch. I mean, like, yeah, it's major league pitching, etc. But let's not pretend that Connor Wong hasn't been on, hasn't seen major league pitching for the last few years. It is not a rookie call up. His at bats and his plate discipline and everything of him at bat has just turned into an automatic out. I don't want to bring up the name, but Travis Shaw. He reminds me a lot of Travis Shaw. His second stint with the Red Sox, just an automatic out in the lineup, just an automatic 2 outs, and he's up. Let's for pace of play, let's just call it 3rd out and have him sit back down and go to the next half inning. Just unbelievable.
Another comment from Ken Santos here. They knew they needed to upgrade. They went after Teal. Teal was kind of floated this offseason. I didn't really believe those. And then Real Muto. I wouldn't have paid that price for Real Muto, but I kind of got it more than other people did. I thought it would have been an okay option if he was like split time at catcher with Narvaez and also played some first base. With the Wilson Contreras trade, obviously it wouldn't have worked out. But early in the offseason, when we heard about it first, I didn't hate it. But once I saw the contract the Phillies gave him, I was never going that way.
I will too. Again, I don't want to harp too much on Wong because I'm sure that I'll have other thoughts throughout the season along the same emotions. Another thing too, last year it kind of made sense because he had more experience working with a lot of our pitchers. But now with a full year, Narvaez working with these pitchers and working with them and understanding cadence and repetition, what they like, what don't like, there's just no excuse now that Wong should be on the roster at all. I mean, and yes, I was in that group of Real Muto would cost way too much for a backup / 50-50 catcher role. And again, I was sad to see Teal go, but we got Crochet, and I just didn't see the White Sox giving up Teal for pretty much anything, or if so, their asking price would have been crazy high.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he got hurt, unfortunately, in the end of the WBC, but I was excited to see him play this year. We'll see him later in the season, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he was going to be traded again, especially back to the Red Sox. I never saw that happening. I'm going to give a few thoughts on Yoshida starting 3 of the next 5. I'm not 100% sure that'll happen, to be honest, but that's what Cora said today. I don't want to see him in the outfield ever, and I really don't want to bench. The comment, I didn't read the whole article. I didn't see all the comments, but what it sounded like is Jarren Duran's going to play center field and Rafael is going to sit, and I don't love that. If Willier sits probably one of the games, we're going to send Roman to right, and then Duran will probably play left, and then place. I don't know. Yoshida's not good enough to take bats away from any of these 3. He should be on the bench. Even if he makes $18 million, he should be a bench bat. He should not take bats away from Jarren Duran. He should definitely not take bats away from Roman Anthony. And honestly, he should not take bats away from Ceddanne Rafaela.
Absolutely. Especially Ceddanne. I mean, to move him to center and then Ceddanne either moving to second, which I don't even want to put it out there, or on the bench. Awful. Just awful. Just awful. Anyway, with Yoshida, Cora's pregame comments about Yoshida, I found it very, very interesting. He was talking about the balance and having to, start 3 guys out of a whole list of 5 and, the whole 9, right? He mentioned they're all great defenders except for one. I'm partially quoting him, but the whole idea was singling out Yoshida, and he singled out Yoshida's inability to play the outfield. He didn't say that he was bad, but he just mentioned that everyone else is great and Yoshida is, not to their level. Yeah, he's at their level of defense in the outfield, right? once again putting you in that pigeonhole of where the hell are you going to play Yoshida, right? And if that means DHing, having Durant sit, or I don't want to sit Willier, I don't want to sit Roman, like you said, all the outfield bats right now are clicking to start the season. I don't want to throw that off. It's almost like a forced sit day. It's almost like a forced rest, right? Roman's 21 years old. He shouldn't be sitting, right? This is the third game of the season, first week of the season. I don't want to see Roman take a game off for probably a month at least. This whole Yoshida thing is throwing a wrench into the gears, and I don't like any of it, or how Cora's handling it personally.
I mean, we could blame Breslow for it, for not trading one of these guys, but also we could blame the Red Sox front office by not just DFAing them. If that's the solution, why not do it?
I've just never heard a Red Sox manager, Cora, or anyone have so much trouble and voice it to the media and in front of the cameras. So much trouble finding spots for talent, right? Whether you want to call Yoshida talent or not, he's talented. He deserves a spot on a major league roster.
Yeah, he's a Major League Baseball player, but
absolutely
he doesn't fit on this roster.
Absolutely. And just hearing Cora every time he's asked, it's like he's sick of it, but every time there's no clear answer. There's no clear answer of, if we're away versus lefties and 3 games in and whatever. There's no clear answer. And I just want a clear answer from Cora on when to expect who. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. If it was me, he's a pinch hitter only. He gets one start a week, and that's it.
Sure.
But like you said, if we have Connor Wong on the bench, who is he going to pinch hit for? So if you need a backup catcher to make Masataka Yoshida work.
I just wish Yoshida could catch or play first or just do anything else that's not play outfield.
Or even second. It would be anything.
Sure.
It doesn't matter.
Sure.
Yeah. You want to get into tomorrow's game? Because I am excited about that pitching matchup. It's going to be really fun. Connolly Early, Rhett Lauder, 2 big-time young arms. Like you mentioned a little bit ago, Connolly Early had an amazing spring. I'm excited to see where he picks up. I'm expecting big things from him this season. I thought he was the most talented arm. I think he's more talented than Peyton Tolley. I think he's going to have the better career. And I really, really am excited for this guy's upside, his swing and miss potential, and everything. The makeup he has, the way he climbed in the last year and a half. This guy's special to me. So I'm excited to see where his major league career really takes off after just a few outings last year.
Yeah, I think that he has that right mentality too. Yes, he earned this spot in the rotation from his spring training, but it is not a given of, if you stay healthy, you will be a starter in this rotation come July or, post All-Star break too. He knows he has to earn it. He knows that other people are on his tail for this last spot in the starting rotation too. So I like that idea of being motivated out there and not just going out there and cruising by. Super excited for Connolly Early. I'm kind of with you too. I would prefer him right now, at least over Tolley, if I had to choose between the two. But I believe Tolley does start tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, too, for AAA. So it's going to be kind of cool to see both of them in action on the same day too.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, honestly. I expect more Peyton Tolley to be up on this roster by this summer. I just think it'll be in the bullpen. But yeah, I think Peyton Tolley has the upside in the bullpen to be like a top 10 bullpen arm in the game. I really do. But I just think Connolly Early's upside as a starter is way higher.
Absolutely. I think too. Yeah, 100%. And he showed it in spring training too. So super excited for tomorrow. I think also having another righty on the mound with Lauder, who is a very challenging righty too. Let's not discredit him. To have Mayer in the starting rotation tomorrow, or let's with Corey, you never know, but let's at least hope that we'll see Mayer in the starting rotation tomorrow with a righty on the mound. I think that'll be a really cool matchup to watch tomorrow and how he handles Router too.
I think we'll have the same starting lineup, except Yoshida will be in there. I don't know, because Yoshida used to bat third last year. Remember at the end of the season. So if Duran's the one sitting, then I think Yoshida bats third. If Sedan's the one sitting, I don't know where Yoshida bats in that lineup. Is it 5th? Is it 8th? Is it? I don't know. Does Trevor Story drop down? He just hit a home run today. I don't know. So Yoshida.
I think it's also super telling that they pinch ran Connor Wong for Yoshida today too. It's like you've already admitted that Yoshida can't play the field, which we all knew. It's like, and he can't run, which is something else that we already knew. But now you're pitch running Connor Wong. You're not talking like Nate Eaton. You're talking about Connor Wong pinch running for Yoshida, right? It's like, is he only good for contact? Is that all he's good for?
Yeah, it is. It's all he's good for. He's like he's an average hit tool, maybe slightly above average, and then everything else is awful. He can't run. He can't throw. He can't field. He doesn't have any power anymore. I mean, his first year he did. It's just been zapped. I mean, he does in the WBC. He has power in the WBC, but after that, he doesn't.
Again, I mentioned in our preseason show, I like the idea of Yoshida getting the reps in the WBC before the season. Kind of means meaningful baseball in front of him before the actual season starts. Hopefully that translates over. Again, today was literally 4 pitches of a sample size and they're all balls. But again, maybe my hopes are a little high for him. Again, I mentioned in our group chat too, but him just sprinting down the line on ball 4 for a walk and then sprinting back to the dugout when Connor Wong was coming out there. Love the hustle of Yoshida. Really show off the wheels, but man, it's just, where is he going to play tomorrow and what is he going to do? I'm excited to see what he does against Louder too. Another great matchup to watch.
No, I'm excited for tomorrow. You got any predictions? You think the Red Sox take it, or do you think they fall in Game 3 of the series?
Of course, I think they will win. It's hard for me to sit here and say that they won't. Even today in extras, of course, in the 10th inning, you're like, when we didn't score in the top of the 10th, it was like, oh man, like that's it. And bottom of the 10th, we come out, and I do want to give some props to Contreras there from first base to come in that far in on that sac bunt attempt.
That was an incredible play. It was. That was
a major league play. That was awesome. As a first baseman myself, I could really appreciate that one. Saved the advance over to third and possibly saved the inning too. Ultimately, it didn't work out, but either way, I think that we do win tomorrow. I think it'll be another close game. Again, I mentioned all season, we're going to see a lot of these 1-2 run differential games. And I don't see scores getting that high too. So I think tomorrow's going to be along the same lines. I'm going to go 4-2 Red Sox tomorrow. Connolly early, just dominating and shutting them down.
I'll take a Red Sox win. I'm not 100% confident on this one, to be honest, but the Red Sox struck out 15 times today. I'm expecting them to strike out again a lot tomorrow against Rhett Louder, but I'm just so high on Connolly early. I'm going to take like a 2-1 win. So I think the Red Sox will hopefully take 2 or 3 from this series, and then that'll be a good start to the season in 2026.
Let's go. Yeah, series win to start would be awesome.
Yeah. Anything else for tonight?
Nope. Just excited to see where Yoshida plays tomorrow. And excited for Mayer too. I already harped on it, but excited to see what Mayer does tomorrow too.
Yeah, of course. You guys, Will, you want to tell everybody where they can find you on your socials?
Yep. Big League Will on all socials, uploading a lot of content over on Instagram and TikTok specifically too, but all socials, Big League Will.
Yeah. My name's Nick. You'll find me mostly on Twitter at Diamond Media. I'm doing some stuff on TikTok lately and Instagram as well, but mostly active on Twitter. You can find Fenway Finale at Twitter at Fenway Finale and on YouTube at Fenway Finale. Thanks for listening, guys, and look forward to the next one. See you tomorrow.